If there is one thing that Bleach does well, it's awesome and badass action moments. The series is filled with them as it is pure shonen. There are so many, but we picked the 10 that go so hard it's insane. This list is also not in any particular order. This is our way of celebrating the release of the new Bleach episodes and to get even more hype for Season 2. So let's just jump right into it. So this moment is just next level. We have been watching this guy Ulquiorra dominate Ichigo for the entire fight. It's not even fair, and then it happens. Ichigo activates protagonist mode and he goes crazy. The animation studio also went crazy cause this entire fight is out of this world, but when Ichigo finally activates his holo, it goes beyond. This is the definition of a cool anime transformation, and what's crazy, it only gets better from there. Ichigo in his holo form is so different, there are no protagonist monologues or anything, he just goes all in and tries to kill Ulquiorra without mercy. We need more of these types of anime fights, no long speeches, just brutal combat. Two super strong characters going full kill mode. Also, that final slash from Ichigo is perfection. This is the best way to end an amazing arc. If you think this was cool, you will love the rest of this list. Okay, this next one is wild. It feels like Grimmjow and Ichigo have had like 50 fights through Bleach, but this final one takes the title of being the best. It already starts in the most epic way. Grimmjow demands that Ichigo gets healed so that the fight can be fair. There is nothing cooler than when an anime villain has honor. When the fight finally starts between these two, it's brutal and honestly so awesome. Both characters are at their peak strength, and they are going all in. Grimmjow is even excited as he finally gets the chance to kill Ichigo. It feels like the dude has been trying to do that for ages. They both also do transformations, which is necessary in any epic anime fight. The animation is wild as both of them go after each other. It's so fast and fluid. Really amazing work from the studio. Also, the ending of the fight actually gets a bit emotional. Even after Grimmjow is killed, Ichigo still shows him respect and gently puts him on the ground. They were true rivals. For the next moment, we have one of the greatest fights in all Bleach and even anime history. Kenpachi is seriously a contender for the most awesome villain ever, and him removing his iconic eye patch while fighting Ichigo is so hyping. So, through the entire show, we see that Kenpachi is a badass, but he has to wear his eye patch because it suppresses his power as he would be too strong for anyone. If he took off the eye patch, he would defeat his enemy in seconds, and now it finally happens. Kenpachi actually likes to fight with the eye patch as he wants to give his enemies a chance, so you know it is crazy when he takes it off, against Ichigo. The moment is so insane and the animation studio really put the work in. We all knew that these things would get crazy when it happened. Ichigo even realizes that he is in trouble. Also, that crazy smile Kenpachi has makes it even more bone-chilling. Definitely memorable. Now the list starts to go crazy. Whenever Bleach fans hear Aizen, we all know something crazy and badass will happen. So this scene with Aizen may be one of the scariest villain showcases of power in anime history. Through the show, we know that Gote 13 are really powerful, so it hits really hard when Aizen takes all of them out in just a few minutes at the final war. The dude is fighting the strongest beings and is barely breaking a sweat. Aizen shows no mercy to the captains and basically makes them all look like just weak thugs. The funniest and also the most tragic part of this fight is that the captains really were confident. They were like, "We got this guy, is no issue." This fight was perfect for the final war. It's basically just Aizen versus everyone and he still wins somehow. Aizen is so powerful that he defeats all the captains without a problem, the Vizards as well, and then he faces off against Yamamoto. He even kicks Urahara and Yoruchi's ass. Truly one of the strongest villains ever. For this next moment, we have the first time Yamamoto releases his Ryujin Haka. Yamamoto is just Master Roshi, but not a pervy edition. When he gets serious, it's crazy. When he finally reveals his true power, he unleashes such a heat wave it's almost as hot as the surface of the sun. There is a reason even Aizen feared this old man. There is nothing scarier than old dudes in shonen anime, and Yamamoto is one of them. Yamamoto decides to punish Shunshu Kyoraku and Jushiro, who are Gotei 13 captains, because they were standing in the way of justice. At this point, nobody knows how powerful Yamamoto really was, so this scene is the perfect introduction to his strength. The animation is also so beautiful as it shows just how powerful he is, and the fire effects are wild. He prepares to attack and his enemies really start to get scared. I really wanted to see more action scenes with Yamamoto. He is so badass. Isane makes an announcement which actually saves Shunshui and Yukitaki from certain death, like they had no chance in this battle. For me, this is the arc when Bleach was at its peak, and one of the reasons was the reveal that Aizen is true evil. This entire moment is so wild as all the captains realize that their leader is actually evil. Aizen has this cold and sadistic vibe about him, and those glasses make him even more scary. He seems to just think all the captains are idiots and he is just above them. Then Ichigo arrives and thinks he can fight Aizen. He goes crazy and using his Bankai to attack Aizen. Then in the single most badass villain move, Aizen stops his entire attack with only a single finger. But also, Ichigo's heroic music stops as well. Aizen is so badass and strong that he stopped the main character's theme. Aizen is all smiles as he does not even think that Ichigo is a serious opponent. Oh buddy, how that will change in a few arcs. I think everyone is familiar with this next moment, and it's one that everyone was hyped for years. The final battle between Aizen and Ichigo is one of the most important anime fights. We as viewers wanted Aizen to lose for so long, and now it was finally the time. Also, this was the time that Ichigo achieved his peak strength. Aizen starts really full of himself at the start of the fight, but he soon gets really humbled. Ichigo is all serious in this fight and he goes all out. The two end up in a desert and continue their fight there. At one point, Ichigo catches Aizen's sword with one hand and is such an awesome callback to that moment where Aizen caught his sword. They are now equal, and that really scares Aizen as he did not expect it at all. Also, we cannot ignore that Bleach soundtrack. Like the tracks make the fights even more epic. Finally, Ichigo achieves his most powerful form. He has long black hair and a giant sword. Even with the Hogyoku power, Aizen was no match for the final Getsuga Ichigo form. Finally, he one-shots Aizen and one of the most epic fights ever comes to an end. This next one is a bit emotional. After his crazy final fight with Aizen, Ichigo lost his powers. For almost 17 months, he has been a totally normal student, and he has been really worried about being forgotten and not having a direction in his life without his powers. This fight with Ginjo is when things got really desperate. Ginjo was just too strong for Ichigo and started to mock him for being weak. Ichigo started to get really emotional as he had so much trauma and felt like a failure. Ginjo is also making fun of him, which makes things even worse. That all changed when Rukia showed up. She is there to help her old friend and she activates her sword and stabs Ichigo. Watching this for the first time was a real roller coaster of emotions. Suddenly, a giant flash of light appears all around the characters and Ichigo gets his powers back, and now it's about to get real. It's such a perfect moment because the hero we love now has his powers back. Ginjo is now in big trouble, as our hero is finally back at full power. Also, the other villains get really worried as the guy who killed Aizen is back. So this next moment takes place during Ryoka invasion, and it was the culmination of Rukia facing her execution. She was supposed to get killed because she committed a great crime of transferring her Shinigami powers to Ichigo Kurosaki. Her friends tried to save her several times, but this was the final moment. She was placed on a giant platform and waited for Kiku to kill her. Suddenly, the giant flaming bird appeared and Rukia said her final goodbye to her friend with tears in her eyes. This is where things get badass. Out of nowhere, Ichigo arrives and stops the attack one-handed, saving Rukia. This is also one of the most badass entrances in Bleach anime. This moment also shows how Ichigo's power level rise up. It's truly a heroic moment and makes Ichigo such an amazing protagonist in early Bleach arcs. The final moment is when Jin betrays Aizen, and it is actually such a boss move. Everyone thought that Jin was this evil guy who followed Aizen's every order, but actually he was a good guy trying to stop him. Jin is the Itachi of Bleach, and he tries to finally end the big evil. Jin is so cool he actually backstabbed Aizen, but did it in the front. For a moment, Aizen was actually scared as he did not expect Jin to betray him. This was such a shocking moment, as Aizen was never even surprised before. Unfortunately, Jin's plan fails and Aizen kills him without mercy after absorbing the Hogyoku. Jin actually died like a hero, which is crazy as everyone thought he was so evil. It's honorable how Jin actually waited hundreds of years just to betray and kill Aizen. This dude took his time, and you cry because your pizza doesn't arrive in a minute. These two were playing mind games with each other for years, and Aizen was still surprised by the betrayal. Really wish Jin survived because he was such an interesting character, but he at least tried something. At the end, he died like a hero in Matsumoto's arms. That's it, folks. We have now reached the end of the video. If you enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to the channel and leave the thumbs up. Also, don't forget to turn on the notification bell for more recaps just like this one, and let us know which anime you want to see next in the comments below. Anime Caps here. See you in the next one.